Hello, everybody. All right, so welcome to the Mikestand. I hope everybody's having a good week thus far. Of course, we'll give it a few minutes before we start talking about what's on tap for tonight. Give people a chance to drop in. If you haven't already, if you haven't had a chance already, if you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. As we wait for more people, I hope everybody's having a good week thus far. Let's see. Doing some last minute sharings here. Alrighty then. Alright, so let's go take a look back, see if anybody come on yet. Oh, do 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 do. Do 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 do. Anyways, so of course we'll be having our news days today through Thursday. Tomorrow I'll probably have Rick back on to cover more niche news tomorrow as well, and then Thursday, if Chris has done an article this week for it, we'll probably be doing Indie Comic Showcase. If not, we'll of course be following up with niche news. This Friday, RJ Carter from Critical Blast will be joining me, and we will be looking back. We'll be taking another trip down Comics History Lane. We'll be going back to March 1940. We got books that went on sale in that month in time. Of course, this week we'll be covering books that went on sale in March of 1940. Hillman, Miracle and Rocket Comics, volumes 1, issues 3 each. So hopefully you guys will come around for that. Anyways, we're at the 3-minute mark now, so I guess it's a good time to talk about what's on tap for tonight. So, got a couple articles I'm going to go over tonight. They seem to be pretty short, but we are going to try to have a shorter night tonight a bit here. The one is talking about, so they're both from Bleeding Full, both comics related. An old comics restoration team wins a lawsuit against a comics grading company over false allegations. And also, former Marvel and DC artist Tom Tenney has fallen on hard times. So those are the two articles we'll be looking at tonight. Of course, also we'll have the wrestling wrap up and this day in each history. As of course a lot of lead into this weekend. As you got on Friday, you got TNA. Having its Emergence pay-per-view, and then on Saturday, WWE will be in Berlin doing Bash in Berlin, as well as NWA having their 76th anniversary show coming from Viking Hall in Philadelphia, of course, the former home of ECW. So, with all that being said, why don't we go ahead and we got 3 people here. We're coming up on 4.5 minutes, so might as well just get started with the articles then. Get going on that. If you haven't already, if you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here I talk about, grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So, with that being said, let's get going here. Let's get to the first article here. And we have our first commenter. Hey, Rick. Hey, Rick. Thanks for popping in, my friend. So the first article we're going to look at here is this one here. This one's an Avi article. Old Comics Restoration Team wins lawsuit against CGC, which I believe is comic book, or I guess comic grading company, I guess, against the comics grading company over false allegations. Let's see what those allegations are, see what's all going on there. So the Philadelphia Inquirer reported a couple in Paoli won a lawsuit against a comics grading company that defamed them with false allegations. Now here's a portion of the article right here. Matt and Emily Myers had become so good at restoring old comic books that they were accused by the world's largest and most influential comic book company of falsifying their project results. It led to such a sharp decrease in their business that the Paoli married couple decided to sue the company, Certified Guarantee Company, for defamation. Amid accusations from the comic company that the Myerses' valuable rare comic books were fake, untrue rumors that they said were spread through their industry. The couple was in quotes here survival mode, said their attorney Lane Jubb Jr., putting their livelihoods at stake as they were forced to sell their restored comics below value and issue refunds to other comic book collectors. But after an 8-year legal battle, a Philadelphia jury last month sided with the Myerses, ordering the comic book evaluating giant to pay the couple $10 million and rendering a verdict likely to reverberate throughout the hobby industry, comic aficionados say. And then Avi speaking here, they're very lucky. I may not consider the speculator market a good example if that's what their job is, part of, but it was definitely wrong of comics grading company to defame and hurt their business because they believe the comics were phony. I wish them well going forward. And then there's the couple right there. Looks like they got a Superman #1 comic right there. It looks like, and the husband there. Let's see. I guess his name's Matt. Yeah, Matt. Right there. He's got a 1776 shirt on there. And then Avi's following up here. That said, the comics they're restoring should still go to a museum and not be solely sold round and round the speculator market to people who likely will only keep them locked up in vaults until they sell them to yet the next bidder at auction. Something comics grading company isn't improving by working in the collectible business, rather than the far better example of museum business. Wouldn't it be better if they transitioned to a company that helps museums archive these classic pamphlets instead? Obviously, as I think we've noted in the past, I don't think Avi's a big fan of the speculator market or people who just collect comics just for the purpose of of hiding them away to let them collect dust and money. Anyways, so that was that for that article. Now let's move on to let's get ready to move on to the next article. These are both going to be pretty short articles, but and here's the if it's someone vault, it publicly it's probably safer than a museum. Oh, that might be true. I mean, because we did actually do an article a while back where a comic book shop actually had been vandalizing a lot of their comics, and I believe it was one that was based in Ohio, where they had some older comics that were stolen. I get your point, Rick. But I think what Avi's getting at is that rather than just collecting dust on a shelf somewhere for one person to basically be able to just to let it uh, basically up its value more, as it were. Just waiting to sell it. I think he's saying that it should be on display for everybody, to enjoy. I think that's where Avi's going with that. So, anyways, moving on to this. And as always, guys, if you haven't already, you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream. See if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. We'll try to answer the questions to the best of our. I'll try to answer. Let's see. And hello, good night, Spoon. Is Rick getting worse at typing? I mean, not like anyone would be able to read it in a museum. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess you have a point there because it would be it would probably be behind a protective glass too. So, get your point there, Rick. But then that's why we have some of the sites that we utilize when we do the historical comic retrospect, right? Possible I am. All right, so let's get to this next article, and this one I think some people would say would be a sad one. Former Marvel and DC artist Tom Tenney falls on hard times. Article by Chris Braley published earlier today. So let's see what's going on here. Tom Tenney rose to prominence with the illustrations of Iron Man and Force Works for Marvel Comics, but the comic book artist is now facing financial difficulties due to illness. The artist is now facing homelessness because his Jacksonville, Florida house will be foreclosed on August 30th. His financial situation has gotten so bad that he tried selling old art and drawing again to make extra money, but has had no luck. Tenney recently discussed the situation with a local news outlet, First Coast News, about what the future may contain, as well as the difficulties he has faced over the last 7 years since being diagnosed with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease in 2017. In layman's terms, for those of you who the full expression there may not be familiar to you, but most people would know it as COPD is what they say he has. So here's their interview with Tenney, and then they have a tweet here. So. Yeah, so and is I guess bleeding fool. He had put something up on their X account. Former Marvel and DC artist Tom Tenney's life took a turn for the worse in 2017 when he was diagnosed with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD, for most people who don't know what the full Now he says he can no longer afford the treatments and is on the brink of homelessness. You can help him here. And I think so I see other guys in this business my age or a little younger. I can't get any work. I don't know why. I'm doing everything I can. I'm drawing well. It's the same old formula, unquote, Tenney said. Quote, they tell me, in small quotes, I still read your books. I go back and read them, on small quote, but in the back of your head, you hear that echo of, quote, am I letting them down? Have I let them down? And then I get some who say, in small quotes, I understand, man, because I am going through the same thing. Small quote, I go through a lot too, unquote. Tenney has launched a GoFundMe page to help prevent the foreclosure in a few days. Now, they're saying August 30th, I believe, which will be Friday. Let's see. Let me just double check that so we're clear here. Yeah, August 30th, which is this Friday. Let's see. Tenney has launched a GoFundMe to help prevent the foreclosure in a few days. You can help at this link. So I'm going to go ahead and go grab this link then. And I'll put it in the chat. And if you guys want to, if you guys would like to help out, feel free to do so. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Good night, Spence. And Rick, you should read and write more. And then Rick saying, yep, Mike. I guess he was responding to something I said. Practice Mike's prefect. Oh, God. Maybe knife. I think I'm being threatened with violence, Mike. Oh, boy. And then take his wrench away. No, I don't really think he's threatening you. Good night, Spoon. Oh, boy. Anyway, so that's all we're going to do on the articles. But here, if you guys, again, want to help Mr. Tenney out here, there's the link if you guys want to go ahead and help him out. You can go check that out. So, yeah, so those went pretty quickly there, to the least. Wow, 19 minutes. So, all right. Well, as I said, we weren't. Well, I guess I could try to see if there's anything more. Guess we might have enough if we can find another quick article. I guess. Not then. If not, then we'll move on to the wrestling wrap up here. Yeah, I'm not. All right. Yeah, all right. I didn't really think there was. So with that, I guess we're gonna move on to the wrestling wrap up here. Of course, last night was WWE Raw. Also, we do have some news out of AEW, and of course tonight, NWA will be of course on the CW app, has its Power episode being aired. As I mentioned before, of course, TNA will be having its Emergence pay-per-view on Friday, and then on Saturday, WWE will be in Berlin, Germany, for Bash in Berlin, and the NWA from Viking Hall in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the old ECW arena, be having its 76th anniversary show. So let's go back and talk about the WWE first. Let's go over what happened on last night's Monday Night Raw. As on last night's all right. We want the results, not the card, because it happened last night, so it already. All right, so on last night's Monday Night Raw, an 8-man, the night opened up in an 8-man tag match where the Judgment Day members of Finn Balor, Carlito, JD McDonough, and Dominic Mysterio, with Liv Morgan in their corner, defeated the LWO members of let's see, Cruz del Toro, Dragon Lee, Rey Mysterio, and Joaquin Wilde. As now, after the match, of course, Judgment Day was attacked by the team now calling themselves the Terror Twins, the former members of the Judgment Day, and Damian Priest and Liv Morgan, in preparing for their upcoming matches. Let's see, in a women's tag team match, the Damage Control duo of Io Sky and Kairi Sane defeated the Pure Fusion Collective duo of Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. There were two matches for this. There's a bit of a tournament, the number one contendership tournament going on for the WWE Intercontinental Championship to see who will next challenge Braun Breaker, who is the current champion. The first triple threat match, Jey Uso defeated Karrion Kross and Kofi Kingston. The second match, Pete Dunne defeated The Miz and Xavier Woods. In what was considered to be a pretty good Haas fight battle between Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed, that match went to a no contest as the fight went all the way out to the parking lot. With, I think at the end of the day, Bronson Reed getting the upper hand on Braun Strowman. And then in the main event, saw Uncle Howdy of the Wyatt Six fashion defeating Chad Gable. So, basically, as they continue to prepare for oops, called you knife meant spork. Yeah, I figured that's what it was. Anyways, so now getting ready to move on to, of course, tonight's NXT, as WWE, of course, will be has NXT tonight as they continue to prepare for an upcoming event this weekend as well, I believe. Okay. Of course, on tonight's NXT show, on the USA Network, Booker T and Vic Joseph as the color commentators. So this show was taped last week. You have the team known as Metaphor of Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend taking on Fatal Influence of Fallon Henley and JC Jane with Jasmine. The women said Izzy Dame taking on Carmen Petrovich, another woman. In a six-man tag, the D'Angelo family of Adriana Rizzo, Channing Lorenzo, and Luca Crucifino with Tony D'Angelo in their corner. On the No Quarter Catch crew of Charlie Dempsey, who was recently on Impact, Miles Bourne, and Ren Sinclair. TNA's Rosemary makes an appearance to wrestle Kalani Jordan in a non-title match. I believe she's the NXT. I think she's actually the NXT Women's North American Champion. So Brooks Jensen will be taking on Malik Blade. The main event will see Joe Coffey of Gallus taking on Javon Evans. So let's see. So Gay Tom already tried that one, Rick. Anyways, all right. So now on the, of course, on the before I talk about NWA here, in some AEW news, coming off, of course, of their All-In event in England, they return to the States tomorrow night for Dynamite. We'll talk more about what's going to go down on Dynamite tomorrow. Already signed, Ricochet will be making his Dynamite debut after debuting at the All-In event in the Gauntlet match, coming off of coming off of his time being released by WWE. He'll be taking on Kyle Fletcher of the Don Callis family. That's the one match we didn't know of. Okay, I'm beginning to question my reality. Okay. Anyway, some of the reports coming out is we may be seeing the on-screen returns of Miro and Keith Lee, who both wrestled last at World's End back in December. Haven't been seen since. And it was also recently reported that Swerve Strickland re-signed with AEW. And we should also find out more about what's going on with Bryan Danielson, following his world title victory tomorrow night. He'll probably be making a statement as to what his plans moving forward are. As he's currently not under AEW contract, they did decide to put the title on him. So we'll see what all that will entail as things move forward. Now on tonight's Power, NWA Power on the CW app, the Go Home Power before this weekend's anniversary show. We will see, as it was taped at the WEDU studios in Tampa, Florida. In a mixed tag, the night will open up with a mixed tag match as one half of the Country Gentleman, AJ Kazana, will be teaming with Taylor Rising to take on the Looks at Kill duo of Brian Idol and Natalia Markova. In a six-man tag match, Magic Jake Dumas teams with the kids duo of Jackson Drake and Alexander Lev, take on Carson Drake and the Slime Balls of Sage Chance and Tommy Rand. Missa Kate takes on Ella Envy, who has become one half of the It Girls with Miss Star. And the main event is slated for the team of Pretty Empowered of NWA World Heavyweight Champion Kenzie Page and her sister, the NWA JCP Southeastern Women's Champion Kylie Page, taking on Tiffany Nieves, who just won the Exodus Pro Midwest Women's title this past weekend, and Reika Tahaka. So, in what promises to be a spirited battle. So, with that now we will get ready to, we're going to end a little early tonight, earlier than even I expected, but that's okay. I was hoping to try to do that anyway. So today is Tuesday, August the 27th, 2024. So let's take a look back at this day in Nietzsche history. So first off, I'm going to head back 90 years ago. And on this date, 90 years ago today, the Charles Mintz Productions animated short, the Columbia animated short, Scrappy's Expedition, was released in theaters on this date 90 years ago today. It saw Scrappy and Oopie head in an exhibition to the South Pole, accompanied by famous radio personalities of that time. So the Columbia animated short Scrappy's Expedition was released to theaters on this date back in 1934, 90 years ago today. So moving on to the next piece as we move ahead to 1954. On this day in 1964 rather. On this day in 1964, the 325th issue of Adventure Comics went on sale on newsstands from DC. Of course, the two features they had in there by this point were Legion of Superheroes, Lex Luthor meets Legion of Superheroes, and Superboy, the day Superboy was a coward. So on this day and they also had a half-page text feature, the Legion Constitution. So on this date, 60 years ago today, Adventure Comics number 325 went on sale on newsstands from DC Comics. And finally, on this date in 1994, 30 years ago today, a very, well, whether you want to call it famous or infamous incident happened in ECW at the time. So on this date back in 1994, 30 years ago today, the NWA Eastern Championship Wrestling hosts a tournament for the vacant NWA World Heavyweight Championship in Viking Hall, Philadelphia, what became known as the ECW Arena. The event and ECW itself gained notoriety when, after winning the NWA World Heavyweight Championship and making a brief acceptance speech, Shane Douglas throws the belt down on the mat and refuses to accept it, vehemently declaring the National Wrestling Alliance a dead organization, referring to the sale of the NWA flagship Jim Crockett Promotions to Ted Turner and renamed to World Championship Wrestling in 1988. Now, basically, you can still find this, I think, on YouTube. It's a the clip of of a clip of Shane Douglas giving that speech and throwing the belt down, where he essentially said he did not want to be the champion of a dead organization. So this was a very key moment. This is basically when ECW, as we came to know it, was born, because declaring his ECW heavyweight champion to be a world title and announcing the launch of a new era in pro wrestling. With the event, ECW withdrew from the NWA and renames itself as Extreme Championship Wrestling, which becomes notorious for bringing hardcore wrestling to the mainstream in North America. So that all happened 30 years ago today, as basically the birth of Extreme Championship Wrestling, when Shane Douglas throws down the NWA belt and elevates the ECW title as a world title. So, Ream the Silhouette game during the chill stream. All right. So with that, I do thank everybody for being here. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. Rick, I'll send you the link for tomorrow morning, sometime. With that, I thank everybody for being here, and I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow. Bye.